Welcome to the Mortgage Minute. Hello, my name is Davidso. I'm a mortgage consultant with the Mortgage Center. Today I'd like to talk about this tighter mortgage rules that the government of Canada has imposed upon us a few days ago. There are basically three changes. This first one is simply that to qualify for a mortgage, we must use a 5-year rate instead of the traditional 3-year mortgage rate. The second change is that the maximum refinance one can get is 90% of the value of the current home. And the third is more to target the investors. For non-owner occupied speculation home, the minimum down payment is now 20%. The 5-year rate really hasn't made a whole lot of difference because we really have been using 3-year rates to qualify all along. As you can see, the difference between a 3-year and 5-year rate is not that great. So let's take an example for a house of $300,000 and let's use a combined family income of $80,000 a year. What you see is that it changed the debt ratio by a mere 1.3%. So it really doesn't have a whole lot of impact. As to the refinancing of 90%, I think it's kind of a good thing because a lot of people has been using the home as an ATM machine. You see, when you refinance, the old system enable you to pull 95% of the equity out of your house, and by the time you pay the 3.15% CMHC fee, you have virtually no equity left. On the other hand, under this new system, you're only allowed to withdraw up to 90% of the value of the house. So at least after this refinance, you still have a little bit of equity left for the future. As to the 20% down, well, we know that we were enjoying 0% down not that long ago, and they took that away, and now what's going away is the 5%, the 10%, and even the 15% down. So as a speculator, now we have to replan everything. We got to really know, we got to study and find out what do we really want. Now you have to strategize everything. And the key to all this really is to really sit down with a professional who understands so you can still achieve your financial freedom goal. Well, what are the good, bad, and otherwise? Well, I think the good is that it will slow down the speculations. The so-called housing bubble burst, well, whether it's true or not is not important, but it will slow things down a little bit. I think it will also help a lot of buyers from facing shelter shocks if the mortgage rate did go up later on. I think too it would also stabilize some of the interest mortgage rate in the immediate short term, and in fact I would believe it would cause some of the rate to drop over the next little while. As a matter of fact, the bond yield, which the mortgage rate piggyback on, has gone down almost immediately after this announcement. Well, what's bad? Well, I think the bad is that it's going to hurt the speculators a little bit. As I mentioned before, for those that don't have the proper plan and are not working with professionals, they may face a lot of difficulties. As to new home buyers, I think it's good too that they are not able to take on as much debt as before. So again, it really helped from the shelter shock standpoint. As to those who understand what we so-called OPM, using other people's money, I think it's a little bit of a disadvantage now that we cannot take out as much money from the house because we were enjoying a maximum of 95% equity takeout at those super low rate. In fact, the interest rate has been so low that I call that free money. And as some who has been with me for a while understand how we can borrow at low rate and invest in something that gives much higher yield. So that's the bad part. Well, what's the otherwise? Well, I believe all this have very little effect on the overall housing market and interest rate in the long term. I believe that the government just want to make a statement. The statement is this, that they can step in at any time. If we don't govern ourselves properly, they will step in and make real changes. Well, if you need to know more, feel free to go to my blog. The blog is davidsowhat.blogspot.com, and you'll see other articles in order for you to get other people's opinions on it.